Hey everybody, welcome back. I want to talk about the show today, the Xbox showcase that they had, uh, and what my thoughts are. And so let's get to it. All right. So first, I want to say that this isn't the entirety of everything that they have to show. They obviously held some stuff back. Even Aaron Greenberg on Twitter, he said that, hey, we got more stuff. We got more bullets in the chamber, is what he said. So they're planning on announcing more things. And even on the video, they said at the end, later this year, we're going to announce more. I think they're talking about whatever event they have for when they announce the price of the console and the launch date of the console. They're going to have an event, and at that time, they're going to show some more things. And some of the other first-party studios that didn't get their games revealed at this show, I think they're going to get their games revealed at that show. I don't think they should have done that. I think they should have went ahead and revealed everything now and maybe just shown more of it later. I think that would have been better. But just because of how much hype this show had, it would have been easier to live up to that hype if you did reveal those now. I think the other show could have still benefited from like longer looks or more in-depth looks at some of those games, and maybe one thing you hold back. But anyway, I think that overall it was a really good show, and I'll kind of tell you what my overall score is of the show at the end of this video. I think it was an overall really good show. I think it could have been better. And I'll tell you why as I go into it. But I'm just going to kind of go in order based on what we saw. I have a list in front of me based on what we saw. I took notes as I rewatched the show. I wanted to rewatch it in 4K 60 because the stream was kind of acting wonky at times. It was glitching out, and some of the quality went down, and it's cutting in and out and stuff. So I went back and watched it at 4K 60 all the way through, and made sure I take the notes, and now I've had time to process it all. I'm not on the initial reaction, and here's what I think. So, first off, Halo, freaking amazing. It kind of gives you those Halo 1 feels, like as if Halo 1, Halo Combat Evolved came out in 2020, what kind of game it would have been. I think this is more of the lines of what everybody's been wanting from 343 when they took over, especially with, now that they have this new engine and the new technology and stuff, and it seems like the natural direction that Halo should go. It seems like they're taking the story seriously, where I read somewhere that the openness of the game doesn't open up until hours into the game, and they said that the game's length is twice the length of Halo 4 and 5 together. So it seems like the story's still going to be there, which is pretty cool in a game like this. It looks like there's a lot of verticality in the game. I think that's why they had to have the grapple shot. Just with the expansiveness of the levels, not having something like that would be kind of a bummer, having to walk around all the time trying to get around these little places that you can't access just because you can't jump high enough. But if you have this grapple shot, it's gonna open up the environment a lot more. I think that was more of an addition out of necessity, out of just trying to be creative, I think the villain, I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, but he was pretty cool. I like the Banished in general. I kind of wish they had kept Atriox and kept him in there, but this guy seems like he's maybe even more demented than Atriox was. So, I think it could be really cool. Seems like an interesting story, and I'm interested in filling in those gaps. What happened between Halo 5 and this game, because it seems like a lot happened. I want to know what happened. Maybe we'll get some kind of podcast or something filling in those gaps. So also, we had State of Decay 3 revealed. So this is a big announcement, and this is Undead Labs' first game developing as being owned by Microsoft. So based on the trailer, it looks like they're trying to give this like a little bit of a AAA type game credibility. I think they're going to put some money into it and really take the time. And one thing I noticed about this game, it didn't say Xbox One at the end. When they show the platforms it's coming out on and everything, that game did not say Xbox One. And in fact, there's a lot of games that did not say Xbox One. And so on each one of those, when I talk about them, I'm going to let you know if it said Xbox One or not. And this one did not say Xbox One. So this looks to be Xbox Series X and PC. It could mean great things for that game. It also probably means it's not coming out for 2 years. They said that within the first 2 years, every game that's first party coming out is coming to Xbox One. A lot of what they showed, I think, is going to be 2022. It seems like the ones that were 2021 or before, they put that 2021 on there. If it's 2022, they didn't say anything. So it looks like they're going ahead, like I said in the other video, and revealing a lot of those future games. I'm happy they did that. This is one that they could have held off on, that they didn't. They went ahead and announced it, so we know what they're working on. We have a reason to get hype about it. We have a reason to get excited. The trailer looked really cool. It adds another element to the game, with the deer-looking zombie thing, I thought that was really cool. So we'll see what they can do. Even State of Decay 2 now is way better than it was when it launched. So I think they got the talent, and I think it's going to be pretty awesome. So the next thing they showed was Forza. Couple notes on Forza. Looks like it's a reboot, going back to ground zero with it. Going to be a completely new game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's more of like a games of service type game, where they just come out, okay, this is our Forza Motorsport, and we're going to keep coming out with content for it over time. And if it's going to Game Pass game anyway, it's like a subscription, right? So just keep coming out with new content for it over time. They did say 4K, 60 frames per second with ray tracing. So that's all three check boxes there. I'll be interested to see if they have a mode later without ray tracing where they can jack the frames up to 120 frames, but we'll see. The other thing I noticed is they said early in development. So this game is not going to be a window game. It looks like they're filling that racing game gap by promoting Dirt 5 a lot, and what they're doing. So I think, Forza looks to be making some major changes. I'm interested on what Digital Foundry is going to say on analyzing the Forza trailer. And it looks like they're really trying to push ray tracing and stuff on that trailer. So the next... Oh, also, that game did not say Xbox One also. Yeah. So Xbox Series X and PC. Next was Everwild. Gorgeous looking game. Still have no clue what the hell it is. What do you do? I know you can bring dying deer. There's a lot of deer in this show. It's kind of weird. You can bring dying deer back from the dead, I mean. And, they do spells and stuff, I guess. And it looks like you have an animal that you kind of develop a kinship with or something, and you complete tasks together. I don't really know what to make of the trailer. I know it looks gorgeous. I know that Rare's a great studio, so I trust them. I would just hoped that we could see a little bit of a glimpse of gameplay to get an idea on what it is that you do. We didn't get that, so that was a little disappointing. Also, did not say Xbox One. So that game's probably 2 years away, and it's Series X and PC. And Tell Me Why. That was the Don't Nod game. It looks cool. Looks like it has a good story to it. I think it was an episodic game. Maybe they spent a little too much time on that game with their trailer. It was a little long, for a show like this. But nothing against people that love that kind of game and the developers. I know that's a really good development team, and the game's probably going to be cool. I just think maybe it was better in maybe a pre-show thing, Ori Will of the Wisp, they're bringing that at 120 frames per second with smart delivery on Series X. That's pretty awesome. You're not going to have to pay for another version of the game. They're not going to sell it to you again. They're just going to jack it up and say, hey, this is a better enhanced version of this game, and it's coming on Series X, which is freaking awesome. Sony they haven't announced an answer for that kind of thing yet. I'm curious because are we going to get an answer to this smart delivery program on Sony's end, or they just don't care because they're making everything for PS5 and they're not allowing their games to be on PS4 anymore. Anyway, like Spider-Man should be on PS4, but they're not. So there's no reason for smart delivery on that system, I guess, unless they, I don't know exactly how they're going to handle it. I know that I wouldn't be surprised if they don't try and resell Ghost of Tsushima as an enhanced mode, and maybe The Last of Us Part 2 in an enhanced mode, maybe sell an enhanced update for $10 like some people have done before, or maybe we'll see. I don't know if they've announced an answer for that or if they have an answer for that. I don't think they do. I do like that though. Gears 5, Forza Horizon 4, all getting major updates, and we're not going to have to pay for it. It's going to feel more next gen. You're going to get better frames and better load times and all that. So I think Obsidian may have stole the show here with their stuff, because they show that they can handle a lot. They're still working on a DLC for Outer Worlds. They have the smaller team that they have working on Grounded. Both of those things are releasing relatively soon. I think Grounded's next week. And then they went ahead and said, hey, yeah, we're making that big, badass AAA RPG. This is who we are. This is, Microsoft said, we asked them what they want to make. This is the game that they wanted to make, and it looks like Skyrim 2. So that is the game that was announced. That's a new game that I did not know about before, that I am most excited about. I don't know when it's coming out, but it's going to be pretty awesome. By the way, I was going to say that Tell Me Why game is on Xbox One. So that was a third party, I guess, thing that they had there, that is on Xbox One also. Let's see here. So we talk about Obsidian, Avowed, which is the Skyrim 2, by Obsidian. That is also not coming to Xbox One. It's a Series X and PC game. So the next game that they talked about was As Dusk Falls. That game, it looks interesting. I'm just not big on those real artsy story only type games. We'll see. The story looks interesting in this game. It has a really cool art style. It's also didn't say on Xbox One. It's only on Series X. So we'll see that, it could be really cool. Personally, it's not something that I'm going to be looking forward to. When it comes out on Game Pass, it's something I'll try, and maybe I'll get hooked into it, some games like that can really grab you. So we'll see if that's one of those games. Hellblade 2, no gameplay. That was a bummer. I bet that's something they held off for the later show. I don't know how you even have people there talking about Hellblade 2 if you don't show gameplay, or at least a new trailer. They didn't have anything new except to talk about some documentary short. People were really excited about seeing that, so I could definitely see them holding that off to give something big to show at the next event. But that was a disappointment. Also, of note, As Dusk Falls and Hellblade 2 does not say Xbox One, only says Series X and PC. Again. Alright, so Double Fine, Psychonauts 2. That game looked like an acid trip. It was crazy. It was just green lights everywhere. I was hoping they were going to announce maybe one more thing, because Double Fine's been kind of that studio that can do multiple projects at the same time. And when I saw Jack Black, I got really excited. I thought it was going to be like a Brutal Legend 2 type thing. But Psychonauts 2 looked really cool. We'll see how good it is. Let's see. I don't know if I wrote down if that one was on Xbox. That one's got to be on Xbox One. Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't have that not on Xbox One. Destiny 2 update. They're coming out with a Series X version. It's coming out to Game Pass. Heck yeah. It's getting upgrades, 4K 60 on Series X. It's going to be cool. I think it's November 10th was the expansion date. So I'm wondering if potentially the Series X might be out before then. My personal guess on the release date would be November the 7th. That's 117. They put on Twitter the shot of the Chief, and they had his armor there, and it went 117 across it. And the tweet said, "More than just a number." So what's more than just a number? A date is more than just a number. It's not just a number, it's a date. We'll see. Maybe November 7th. That would be really cool. That is a Saturday, so it's not common to release stuff like that on a Saturday. But I think they could make a big deal about that, 117, a big celebration, because Halo and the Xbox Series X would launch on the same day. That would be pretty cool. I would like to see both consoles release on the same day. Could you imagine the celebration that there would be for gaming? Everybody come together, have this whole kumbaya moment for everybody loves video games. PS5 and Series X comes out on the same day. That'd be cool. I'm just a dork, I know. The next thing was Stalker 2. I have to learn more about Stalker 1. It's something I missed the boat on, I guess. I don't know, but it didn't say Xbox One also, I noticed. But that game looks pretty cool. That's a game that fits more of like, hey, I'm excited to see more of what that looks like, because the trailer looked pretty cool. We'll see. Maybe I'll see the gameplay, and I think it looks whack. I don't know. But the game looked up my alley. Then Warhammer Dark Rise. Warhammer Dark Rise. The Warhammer games never did anything for me. I see they have good cinematic trailers, but whenever I see or have tried the gameplay before, it just kind of wasn't very good, in my opinion. So, we'll see. I'll try this one because it's going to be on Game Pass. In fact, all these games are going to be on Game Pass. All the games I've talked about, Game Pass. It's crazy. It didn't say Xbox One also. I mean, you would think a Warhammer game would be one that would be Xbox One. So clearly people are moving on to next gen. They're seeing something that they can really take advantage of, and that's what they're focusing on. Tetris Effect Connected. Game Pass game. That'll be awesome to have a Tetris game on Game Pass like that. I know the PlayStation version of that game had already come out before, and this is going to be a different version of that. It's going to be Tetris Effect Connected and not just Tetris Effect. I don't know exactly what the difference is because I haven't played the other one, but I think it would be really awesome having something like that on Game Pass. Because Game Pass, I could see that one being on XCloud and everything. Playing it on your phone in bed at night. Your wife's watching, some house flipping show or something like that, So that would be pretty awesome there. I'm excited about that one, actually. Then there was a game called The Gunk. I really don't know what it is. It showed little bits of gameplay. I think The Gunk would look pretty cool. I don't really know what it is. It looks like you kind of maybe go through levels and try and get rid of obstacles, and I'm not really sure exactly. But that one did say Xbox One. I don't remember if Tetris Effect did. I'm pretty sure that. Why wouldn't they come out with that on Xbox One? They have to, right? The Gunk, yeah, they definitely did say Xbox One on that, and they did say Smart Delivery. So with Smart Delivery, there's going to be an enhanced version of it that we're going to get it for free on the Xbox Series X if we get the Xbox One version. So you get both versions if you buy the game, regardless. So I love the Smart Delivery thing. That's really cool. All right, so the next one is the Medium. Medium looks awesome. I wasn't blown away by the visuals on it. I was thinking that they thought we would be blown away by the visuals. I think it looked pretty good. I think it looked like a really cool game. It didn't say Xbox One. It's only going to Series X and PC. But, it gave, regardless of if it didn't look graphically amazing, the feeling of that game was pretty awesome. And they had that creepy voice, "Where are you?" That was pretty cool. I think they're onto something with that game, with the dual realities and stuff, and having the two versions of the world at the same time. So that could be really interesting to go between those. And I'm excited to play that game for sure. Then we have Phantasy Star Online 2, New Genesis, a free-to-play game. Again, that one said Xbox Live Gold required, so I guess they're not getting rid of the multiplayer paywall. Said 2021. That's cool. I used to play the heck out of Phantasy Star back on the Dreamcast back in the day. We'll see if this one... I tried the version on Xbox that came out recently. It didn't really grab me like the old school one did. We'll see if this updated version with... because they're saying it's like a new game. I don't understand how it's Phantasy Star Online 2, but yet it's a new game. I don't know. I don't get that, but that's what they say. So we'll see how good that is. The graphics looked pretty good on that for that style of game. So I'm excited to give that a try. Again, it's free to play, so no reason not to try it, right? The next one they showed was Crossfire X. If Remedy wasn't doing the story mode on that, I wouldn't care to even try it, because I tried the multiplayer beta. It was kind of whack, like it felt like a knockoff shooter to me. It felt like if you play like a random shooter that you just decide to download on a mobile device and you're like, oh, this looks cool, and it's called like Kill Frenzy or some weird generic name, and you said, hey, it looks pretty good though, or like Modern Combat, and you give it a try, but the graphics are good, it looks really good, it runs really well and smooth, but it just feels generic and lame. That's how I felt when I was playing the Crossfire X beta. I felt like I was playing a mobile game. I don't know. So, if Remedy is involved with the story, that's awesome, because I love Remedy. But if it plays like the multiplayer did, I don't care. I am not going to be interested. So hopefully it's better than that. I think Xbox thinks, because the amount of players that this game has had, thinks that this game is cooler than it is, but I don't see or hear a lot of excitement about it here. So we'll see. Maybe Remedy will do something really cool and have an awesome story. The interesting thing is the story's not going to be on Game Pass. So the multiplayer is on Game Pass, or it's free to play or something. But there's a little disclaimer on the bottom, and it says single player is not in Game Pass, sold separately. So, I don't really understand that. I think they could have just left this game out of the show entirely and not had it as like the close to end game for the show. I don't know. It seemed like a waste of time to me. Then there was Forza Horizon 4 and Gears and Sea of Thieves they showed. They're getting the optimized versions. Yeah, I already talked about that a little bit. I think that's awesome. Again, smart delivery is awesome. Enhanced versions are awesome. The optimized for the Series X, that's cool. These games are going to run and look better than we've ever played. In fact, I'm having trouble right now with some of my games because I haven't finished Gears of War 5 yet. Because every time I start playing it, I think about all the updates that are about to come out when the Series X comes out, and I was thinking maybe I can hold off a few months and wait for that because it's going to be better. Not that it's not amazing now. It's just a weird problem I have, I think. But yeah, I really do want to see what that game looks like on the Series X. Forza Horizon 4 too. I mean, that game right now, I think it's 4K 30 frames per second. If they get that running at 60 frames per second, that game's that might be the best racing game of all time. It might already be, but at 60 frames per second, yeah, it's gonna be butter. Then, it looked like the show was ending and wrapping up, and I'm kind of like, oh, that was cool. Like, but where's the other big announcements? And then they surprise us at the end with Fable. I say surprise. Everybody knew it was coming, right? They didn't show any gameplay. Supposedly they've been working on this game for years. They didn't show any gameplay. I was disappointed in that, but what they did show made me understand that Playground Games, who's also the maker of the Forza Horizon games, they're the ones making Fable now, right? This game used to be made by Lionhead Studios, which isn't around anymore. Back when Microsoft was going through some dark times in the early Xbox One era, they closed that studio. So Playground Games, though, I mean, it looks like they get what Fable is, because that trailer showed some of the humor, that we like from Fable. It kind of had the whimsical feeling a little bit. It had the bright colors, and it showed the big city and stuff. I'm definitely excited to play that. And again, it just said Fable. It didn't say Fable 4. So I think it's another reboot. And that's kind of a theme going here with Xbox. They're not going to go back and call Halo Infinite Halo 1 and it's a continuation of the story, but it's definitely a reboot of the franchise. They're going in a different direction. Forza Motorsport. It's not Forza 8. Forza Motorsport. They're going in a different direction. I love that they're going all in on these franchises and giving them fresh life. Things kind of got stale for a while, They're pumping new life into them, and can't wait to see what it is. By the way, Fable also did not say Xbox One, so that game's probably at least 2 years away, right? If Phil Spencer said all first-party games within the first couple of years are going to be cross-generational, then a lot of these games are far off, because you look at Fable, you look at Hellblade 2, Avowed, That's a hard name to remember. Avowed. Yeah, maybe they might want to rework the name. That's the only thing. I can't remember the name for some reason. Yeah, Avowed. You got Everwild, Forza, State of Decay 3. So all of those games are not coming onto Xbox One. In fact, most of the first-party games they announced are not coming to Xbox One. So this whole thing with Phil Spencer talking about, not leaving anyone behind, it's true, but that's only because the games that they're developing are far off, So I don't see any problem with that. They're spending time making big games, right? And people that think they don't have exclusive games and they're not gonna have games, well, this proved them wrong. They showed what they have for the future, right? They showed that, hey, we got huge RPGs, Fable, Avowed. I had to look again because I couldn't remember the name. Fable, Avowed. They have Everwild, whatever that is. They have Forza coming, and it looks like it's going to be probably bigger and better than ever with spending all this time on it. For a game that was in a rotational thing, it was going every 2 years between Forza Motorsport and Forza Horizon. For now, it's going to be years, before we see the next Forza Motorsport game. They said early in development. They're really working on redeveloping what Forza Motorsport is. So I'm excited to see that. Because when you do something that's already on its 8th iteration, it can lose its luster, They bringing it back to make something new again. And the trailer looked pretty awesome. So I can't wait to see what they come up with. So all in all, I thought they had a really great show. I thought that they showed more than Sony did at their show. I think where they were lacking in this show was in the gameplay department. Again, like the May show, they didn't really have a lot of gameplay, but I think what they did show was really good. I think people are kind of disappointed not seeing a lot of next gen gameplay, and that's probably because a lot of these games just aren't ready to be shown yet. They're not at that stage yet. If we know they're not coming out for 2 years, they're not going to be showing a lot of gameplay for those games. Why would they show gameplay on something that's only 2 or 3 years? That's 2 or 3 years away. They're gonna hold that off, get it cooking more. I would have liked to see a glimpse of it, but maybe because of COVID-19 and the pandemic and everything going on in the world, they really couldn't get it done for a show like this. So I get probably why it happened. I would have liked to see more gameplay, but all in all, I thought it was an awesome show. We'll see what else they got to show at the next event. My score for this show, I would say, would be a solid 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, that seems about right. I was hoping for a 10. I think if they didn't hold off the couple things that they have for this other show, maybe the Initiatives game, whatever Compulsion is working on, In Exile. If they had shown those, then that might be a 10. Or if they had gameplay of Fable, gameplay of Forza, gameplay of even some of these other games, from some of these other studios like Stalker II and stuff like that. That could have made it a 10, but I think it's a solid 8.5. And if you're asking me what Sony's show was, I would call it an 8. I was very happy with their show. I thought they had a great show. Again, there wasn't a lot of gameplay in that either, but there was a lot of game announcements and a lot of game announcements to be excited for. So no matter which platform you choose, you're gonna be happy. For me, I'm gonna choose both. I'm gonna enjoy the heck out of Game Pass. I'll tell you that. Every single one of these games is on Game Pass or it's free to play. How crazy is that? That they have this whole conference where they announce all these games and show all these games, and every single one of them is playable for $9.99 a month for a regular Game Pass subscription. And if you want to play it on your mobile devices and on your and get Game Pass on PC as well, $14.99. So why not? You know, how crazy is that gonna be when XCloud launches and all these games start dropping? To be able to play all of them, and not only that, I think all of them are coming to XCloud too. They didn't acknowledge that, but before I think they had said that all the full Game Pass library was going to be on XCloud. So, yeah, that's mind blowing, you know, for a streaming service, and that's really what we should be talking about. It's not. We shouldn't be talking about the Series X or the PS5 or PC or anything. I mean, people like me, yeah, that's what I'm going to buy, you know. But as for what's going to be changing in the future of gaming, to have all of those games playable without even having to own a console, that's crazy, you know. Being able to pay $14.99 a month and have access to all those freaking games. Yeah, let that sink in. Well, that's all I got. I rambled on here for a long time again. Sorry. And we'll talk next time when we got something to talk about. I'm sure it won't be too long. All right, have a good one, guys.